Heathens, and welcome to my channel. I am Beauty Heathen, and my channel is dedicated to the exploration of paganism through the medium of cosmetics. If you enjoy this subject matter or find my content of interest, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and set the bell to all to be notified of when I upload new videos. In today's episode, I will be discussing the subject of the Hindu goddess Kali. Now, I'm sure if you're returning to my channel, you're probably wondering where on earth is the head. I'll get that in just a moment. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And it was brought to my attention over the weekend that for anyone who's new to my channel, there is a reason why I linked together the subject of paganism and cosmetics. And that is largely due to the fact that if not for our ancient pagan ancestors, we likely wouldn't have cosmetics today. It is thanks to them and time and human evolution that humans evolved to paint their faces and develop pigments and paint their faces for either protective or ceremonial purposes. So I use cosmetic practice heads, and I always prepare them with a layer of hairspray per the instructions to protect the head from staining, which I'm really hoping, really hoping is gonna work after today's video. We will see. You'll see why in a minute. And then I lay down foundation, and then I cover it in setting powder to try to give it a more matte finish to give the cosmetics the best chance that they can possibly have at adhering to the head. These heads do not have human texture, they do not have pores, they don't have anything to kind of help them grip onto the cosmetics when I apply them. And because of that, sometimes using cosmetics on them can be a little bit hit or miss. So if you are tuning into my channel for reviews, if you are tuning into my channel to see how cosmetics might work on your face or on human skin, my channel is not for that. How the cosmetics work on these heads is not in any way, shape, or form a real reflection of how they work on human skin. So with all of that said, before I put the head right here, the goddess Kali is portrayed as being either black or blue. And I don't mean black as in African American. I mean literally black, or a deep color of blue. I obviously do not have blue foundation because they don't make a foundation in that skin tone. Although I did find some on Amazon after I had done this process, which probably would have been helpful, but I usually only schedule content and figure out what content I'm doing about a week out or so. So let's all hope and pray, and if you have made it to this point, let's put a heart emoji in the comments for my attempt at making blue foundation. And I got the skin tone approximately correct. Obviously this does not look altogether that well, and I can show you right here where I actually physically used several different products to try to get this skin tone. If I had had a black or better foundation, I probably would have done a better job, but I only had the white foundation, and I used some mica powders, and I used some eyeshadow basically, and just kind of mixed it all together the best that I could. Of course, after applying it to the face, there's some areas where the powder didn't completely break down in the foundation base that I was making, so there's slightly bumps here and there, so please forgive my not so pretty application today. With all of that said, I am going to go forward and hope and pray that the additional products that I've made are not going to permanently stain this head. I noticed while I was applying some of the foundation, some of the areas where there's hairspray in order to protect the head was coming up, so let's all cross our fingers. Okay. Where today I'm covering a goddess. I'm actually going to use the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Alien palette. Again, mainly because it has some tones that I think would be suitable for this deity. And with that, on with the show. Now, when I mention the goddess Kali Ma, if you've seen Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, you likely get visions of this guy stuck in your head. Because in the movie, you had Kali Ma Shukde and reaching into somebody's chest and ripping out their heart. But the only problem with all of that is it's very largely exaggerated for cinematic purposes. Shocking, I know, right? I mean, let's be honest here, if a person got their heart ripped out, they're likely not going to stay alive until they reach the bottom of some sacrificial pit. And Hinduism is a very large and diverse belief system. And although the vast majority of it is peaceful, there has been some human sacrifice and cannibalism practiced by small groups of practitioners. And there has been some sacrifice even as recent as the 2000s that I was able to find of especially young children being sacrificed to the goddess Kali. Now, that's not to say that all followers of Kali practice this. By and large, the ones that I was able to find do not. And in general, it appears as though those who might perform these acts tend to be in more rural areas where superstition is greater. So, now that I've let in with that, Kali is the fearful and ferocious form of the mother goddess in Hinduism. She assumed the form of a powerful goddess and became popular with the composition of Devi Mahatmya, a text written and produced in the 5th or 6th century AD, where she is depicted as having been born from the brow of goddess Durga during one of her battles with the evil forces. As legend goes, in the battle, Kali was so much involved in the killing spree that she got carried away and began destroying everything in sight. To stop her, Lord Shiva, her husband, threw himself under her feet. Shocked at this sight, Kali stuck out her tongue in astonishment and put an end to her homicidal rampage. Hence, the common image of Kali shows her in her melee mood, standing with one foot on Shiva's chest with her enormous tongue stuck out, which is something I am going to attempt to create, but we will see how that goes. Kali is represented with perhaps the fiercest features among all of the world's deities. She has minimally 4 arms with a sword in one hand and the head of a demon in another. The other 2 hands bless her worshippers and say, "Fear not." She has 2 dead heads for her earrings, a string of skulls as a necklace, and a girdle made of human hands as her clothing. Her tongue protrudes from her mouth, her eyes are red, and her face and chest are sullied with blood. She stands with one foot on the thigh and the other one on the chest of her husband Shiva. This is how she's generally depicted. In some depictions of her, she can have as many as, I believe, 8 arms. It really depends on where you look for the art. Obviously, the eyes on the head are not open, hence why I'm not going with red tones. I'm keeping things somewhat dark to try to stay reminiscent to art pieces that I've seen. Try to grab this one. The only benefit of this is I get to reuse brushes that were already having blue pigment on them. So, let's see, I'm going to go in with Moon Rock. Kali's fierce form is strewed with awesome symbols. Her black or blue complexion symbolizes her all-embracing and transcendental nature, says the Mahanirvana Tantra. Just as all colors disappear into black, so all names and forms disappear into her. She's largely portrayed as being nude, and her nudity is primeval, fundamental, and transparent, like her nature. The earth, sea, and sky. Kali is free from the illusory covering, for she is beyond all Maya or false consciousness. Kali's garland of 50 human heads that stands for the 50 letters of the Sanskrit alphabet symbolizes infinite knowledge, while her girdle that of severed human hands signifies work and liberation from the cycle of karma. Her white teeth show her inner purity, and her red lolling tongue indicates her omnivorous nature, her indiscriminate enjoyment of all the world's flavors, I guess you could say. Her sword is the destroyer of false consciousness, and the 8 bonds that bind us. She has 3 heads, 3 eyes, one of which I'm going to now attempt to draw. I make absolutely no promises as to how this is going to come out. The only thing that I can think to try to use is I had actually applied a black NYX eyeshadow primer on this head versus the white one that I normally do. And any time I've seen her portrayed with an eye, the eye is not side to side but up and down. So I'm going to attempt this, and I'm going to just keep trying to use the NYX eyeshadow base because I think it's going to possibly be the best chance I have at being able to draw this. And her 3 eyes represent the past, present, and future, also known as the 3 modes of time, an attribute that lies in the very name Kali, or Kala in Sanskrit, which means time. Okay. I used to be better at drawing eyes. Although, be a little kind to me. It's been both a very long time since I've drawn an eye, plus I've never drawn one in this medium, so I'm just going to give it my best shot. I'm going to give her a pupil, since this is really the only way I can do this. Okay, I am going to attempt to use the same J-Cat lip palette and use the red color right there to try to give her a red eye. Just trying to find an appropriate brush for this. Where the other 2 are closed, this is the only one I can really accurately portray, or attempt to accurately portray. An eye. Sorry, I stopped talking. It's just sometimes a little hard to keep reading while you're trying to concentrate and make sure you're not screwing up at the same time. I'm going to use this white color right here to try to fill in the sides. I've never used it before, so I don't know how it's going to work out. Please forgive the background noise. I live on a somewhat busy road, so every so often you will hear traffic going by, especially that of trucks. Probably would have been wiser to attempt the white NYX eyeshadow base, but just figured this might be do a pretty decent job, and it's not doing too bad. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Kali is so called because she devours Kala, or time, and then resumes her own dark formlessness. Kali's proximity to cremation grounds, where the 5 elements, or Pancha Mahabhuta, come together and all worldly attachments are absolved, again point to the cycle of birth and death. The reclined Shiva, lying prostrate under the feet of Kali, suggests that without the power of Kali, or Shakti, Shiva is inert, which means without her, he doesn't do anything. Let's see. I'm going to use, or potentially use, some of Black Hole and attempt to use it as a blush, I guess. Kali's guises and names are diverse. Some of her names include Shaima, Adyama, Tarama, Dakshina Kalika, and Chamundi are all popular forms. Then there is even Bhadra Kali, who is gentle, Shyamashana Kali, who lives only in the cremation ground, and so on. Kali, being the goddess of time, doomsday, and death, or the Black Goddess, the feminine form of Kala, her origins can primarily be traced to the deities of the village, tribal, and mountain cultures of South Asia, who are gradually appropriated and transformed. If never quite tamed by the Sanskritic traditions, Kali's iconography, followers, and mythology commonly associate her not only with death, but also with sexuality, violence, and paradoxically, in some later transitions, with motherly love, which has seemingly become her primary focus, it seems, lately. Any of the research and some of the sites that I found when researching her directly referred to her as a mother, and that many of her followers even look upon her as with the same amount of love as they would view their own mother. I'm going to attempt a product that I made for the tongue. I think it will likely be the best shot I have. This product consists of a gloss base that I purchased off Amazon and some mica powder for the red pigment. This is one of the products that I'm most nervous about as to whether or not it's going to stain, because I'm going to warn you. I'll actually show you the container. If you are interested in making your own glosses or your own products, I'm going to highly encourage you not to buy this one. This is supposed to be a lip gloss base. It says it right there. But it's made pretty much entirely out of polymers And I noticed when I was testing some of the colors and things that I was attempting to make using this, that it does not come off. It does not act like a lip gloss that, if you lick your lips or anything of that nature, it's going to come off. This actually closer resembled a liquid lip. The only way I could get it off my hands was to use actual makeup remover, which is not anything I was expecting, especially when it says lip gloss. So let's all hope and pray that this doesn't permanently stain things. Although depicted in many forms throughout South Asia and now much of the world, Kali is most characterized as black or blue, partially or completely naked, with long, lolling tongue, multiple arms, a skirt or girdle of human arms, a necklace of decapitated heads, and a decapitated head in one of her hands. She is often portrayed standing or dancing on her husband, the god Shiva, who lies prostrate, beneath her. It has been a long day and I'm getting very tongue-tied. I apologize. Many of those portrayals depict her discovering that she is trampling on her husband, yet the association of Kali with an extended tongue has many early roots. And then you go too far. A precursor of Kali is the ogress Long Tongue, who licks up oblations in the ancient Sanskrit text known as the Brahmanas. And forgive me if anyone watching this is Hindu and I am mispronouncing things. I greatly, greatly apologize. It is not my intent to offend in any way. The Devi Mahatmya tells of Kali springing from the anger of the goddess Durga to slay the demon Raktabija, also known as Bloodseed. During the struggle, a new demon emerges from each drop of his blood as it hits the ground. To prevent this, Kali laps up the blood before it can reach the ground. She is also said to have been born when the goddess Parvati shed her dark skin. The sheath became Kali, who is also called Kaushika, known as the sheath, leaving Parvati in the form of Gauri, also known as the Fair One. Worshipped throughout India, but particularly in Kashmir, Kerala, South India, Bengal, and Assam, Kali is both geographically and culturally marginal. Since the late 20th century, feminist scholars and writers in the United States have seen Kali as a symbol of feminine empowerment, while members of New Age movements have found theologically and sexually liberating inspiration in her more violent sexual manifestations. Hey, I don't judge. So, I hope this has been somewhat informative, and I'm just trying to somewhat finish her tongue if I can. Obviously, I cannot make it as long as many images portrayed. But I hope I've done a decent enough portrayal of her. Just trying to make sure I put that. I have one section of this round container that I used to store brushes, dedicated to dirty ones, and I'm trying to make sure I don't accidentally put things in the wrong place. Now, with regards to her face, given that her coloration got somewhat distorted, I'm going to attempt to put down a bit of a blue color on top. Again, I made this with the gloss and some mica powder. That's changing the color a bit much. My goal was to try to make her look more goddess-like and ethereal, but I think it's turning her more into a Smurf, which is not something I was going for. So I'm just going to stop there and leave her be. And I experimented with something new. I tried with the ingredients that I made, and it just didn't come out to the correct tone that I was looking for. I think because with the foundation, I actually added 2 additional colors of eyeshadow, which really helped the color become more true to the artistic representations of her. So, anyway, I hope this video has imparted some knowledge on the Hindu goddess Kali. And before you leave, if you enjoyed this video and wish to have more like it, please be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you have made it this far, please leave a prayer symbol or prayer emoji down below in the hopes that I am able to get this head clean, and in the hopes that it's not permanently stained with blue pigment. We will see. And never be shy to communicate. I promise I'm not gonna bite. And if you would please be so kind, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you can stay tuned for new videos when I release them every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With all of that said, until next time, I wish you joy, I wish you love, I wish you kindness, I wish you prosperity, I wish you happiness, and I wish you the brightest of blessings, and blessed be.